stove. Flavor Queen is here. She is making a dish, getting you ready for St. Patrick's Day. Of course, she is the Flavor Queen, Janine Washley. What are we making?
Hello.
Hello.
We're making Guinness stew. So this,
are we putting beer in there then?
We are putting
or stout. Is beer the same as stout?
Well, it's a classification.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a type, and we are going to use it. And it starts off first though with a little history lesson.
Of course it does.
So,
we're with the Flavor Queen.
So Ireland historically was not a wealthy place. So people had to do with what they had. And so this starts with a simple cut of beef. You know, it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't want to go out and spend a ton of money on some Wagyu or something like that. So we are using a chuck roast. And I went ahead and took off, you know, because it has some fat on it. And so I went ahead and took the fat off.
Don't take the fat off.
Well, you know, the big chunks, because there are some chunks. And we've got it to where it's browned, because brown will equal flavor. And then we see all of these onions. So these are 2 large onions or 4 medium onions chopped up. Does it matter
what kind of onion? You have the white onions there.
Yeah, the ones with the yellow skins on them.
Okay.
So those are the best for sautéing and for long cooking, because they get really sweet, but you can still see the onion in it. So it still retains a little bit of integrity. And this, back then, would have been considered like a filler. So an onion is actually an herb. And so herbs help, an onion helps with moving like liquid through your body. So if you've got a sniffle or a cold, an onion's the way to go. So we're using a lot of onions as a filler, but also just kind of as a medicinal source. So, you know, they had to make use with what they had, and, you know, things had to make sense. So they weren't just necessarily eating for pleasure, they were also eating to maybe make somebody in the family feel better. And then we've got these beautiful root vegetables, very typical to Ireland: carrots, rutabagas, and parsnips.
Rutabagas and parsnips.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I've ever eaten a rutabaga or a parsnip.
Oh, very old-fashioned.
Right? When
it
you
really
say that,
is.
I think of my grandma. I don't even know if my grandma ate a rutabaga or a parsnip. And you know what else makes me think of that?
What?
What's that that you put with strawberries, and it's a stalk? Rhubarb.
Oh, rhubarb. Oh, here's something interesting. Rhubarb is a vegetable.
See?
And in other countries, now we treat it as a fruit.
Like it's sweet.
Yes. Yeah. But in other countries, it's a wonderful chutney or a compote with pork dishes. So rhubarb and pork go together.
There we go. We're learning as we go.
So yeah. So these are very humble vegetables, and they don't cost a lot. And even today, you know, when I went to the grocery store yesterday to pick these up, these did not cost a lot compared to some of the trendier things that were out there. Now, if you did want to add potatoes to this, you would be treading on making this an Irish stew, because Irish stew is with potatoes. So we don't have potatoes in this, but we have root vegetables.
Okay, and what we're making, this is not an Irish stew, this is a
Guinness stew. So it's a beer-based stew.
Okay.
And then when you add your Guinness, let it go flat, because the carbonation, that CO2, can actually add a bitter note.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So we're going to open it the day before or something?
You can open it the day before, and that will be awesome. Leave it at room temperature, and it will lose its carbonation. And if you're like, oh man, I forgot to, you know, decarbonate this, you can put it in a saucepan or a pot real quick, and yeah, bring it up to a boil, and it'll get rid of the carbonation that way. Yep. So we add a whole bottle of our Guinness, and then you and I were talking.
My dad just died. You put Guinness in a stew. He's like, put that in a glass.
Oh, well, I'm with your dad, because I mean, if I'm going to drink a beer, I do love a double. How do they say that? A double poured Guinness.
I don't know the wrong girl. Janine, I don't know.
Okay. We talked about this, where this is so handy. When we were on the podcast, we were talking about it, and oh, it got. So it's so easy, rather than getting the can.
So
you just get this.
It.
Yeah, and then you just roll it up like a toothpaste and keep it for months.
So you must not need a lot.
Just a tablespoon.
Because that's paste and not sauce.
That's right.
Talk about the difference between paste and sauce.
Okay, sauce has all the juices in it, and you just keep cooking it down, and finally this is or double concentrated. And finally, you get from sauce to puree. You know, we've got the cans of tomato puree. You keep on cooking it. This takes hours, and then you get paste.
And that's where we are there.
And we are at paste.
That taste is so concentrated.
It is. And this is what makes beef taste really good. This and a bay leaf was my mom's secret. Sorry, Mom, I just gave your secret away. But for Sunday roast, Mom always added a big dollop of tomato paste and 2 bay leaves to her pot roast. And that way, you just had that really delicious flavor with the gravy and all of that. So this is caraway seed. I know, a divisive, you know, some people like it, some people, I do too. And this is great for indigestion. If you get gassy or something like that.
Can I have that?
This prevents gas. It just has a chemical compound in it, and it's wonderful. It's released when it cooks and it kind of puffs up a little bit. A little salt and pepper, like we always know. The salt breaks down the cells and just helps bring everything together.
Okay,
and this is an odd little ingredient: raisins.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, instead of sugar, this was something that people had because they grew, you know, their grapes, and you add that for a sweetening element.
Okay.
And then we add 6 cups of beef broth, let that cook for a couple of hours on the stove, 45 minutes in an Instant Pot, 6 hours in a crock pot if you would like to do it in a crock pot. And you end up...
You could do that while you're at work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you end up with this. Just
Looks
a
so
beautiful... Oh, it's very fragrant. You know, I told you the other day.
Put the juice in there. That's the best part.
Here you go.
The juice.
I can smell it, but you can taste it.
Yeah, I can't smell it, but that's okay.
But you can taste it. Yeah. And
you know, it's horrible to say that now after COVID. Somebody say, "Oh my God, can you smell that?" And I'm like, "No, I can't smell." The first thing they think is, "Oh my God, she has COVID." No, I don't. I need a spoon.
Yeah. Let's see.
Down one, George. Jeremy said. My producer talking to me.
I only see forks.
Yeah, I only see forks too.
Well, poo.
Guess what? I'm going to drink it.
Hey, you go.
This is so good. Okay, what else is going on that you want to make sure we know about?
Well,
the recipe. You have a recipe for some things.
The recipe for the Guinness stew also includes a topping that you can do, like a cobbler topping, and it's soda bread. So you can put soda bread on top, or you can bake it alongside. So today you get your Guinness recipe, but you also get a soda bread recipe.
That's very good.
And then next week is Cooking at the Cottage, and it's on the 13th. I've got a few seats left, and I would love to see you all there in class.
Are we doing Cajun and Creole-inspired soups?
Yeah, we sure are. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
just so much fun.
Few more seats left.
Yes, just a few more. I checked it last night, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, we're almost sold out." But I think we have like 6 seats left.
Okay.
So
the
please fill it up.
recipes you will find on our website, and you'll be able to watch Janine make this all over again if you need to do that. Did we forget anything?
No, that's what's going on. And then we've got cooking. You know, we've got some other cooking classes coming up in April and May, and we can talk about those later.
Okay. And if you want a party for St. Patrick's, well, it might be sold out.
I could probably squeeze a couple.
Okay, if you want catering or something for St. Patrick's Day, I should have asked before I said that. There's the number, 502-777-7432. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Flavor-queen.com.
Always take care of our friends.
There we go.